We've been pointing at these weekly cycles, okay, and saying that approximately speaking, you get a double out of every one of these weekly cycle lows. That was, of course, until the prior weekly cycle where we managed 70% from low to high. And since then, we have only managed to achieve something in the neighborhood of 20-ish%. I still think it's got a little more upside left in it, but we've been talking about two scenarios, either this yellow squiggle to new highs or kind of a lackluster rollover bounce, then weekly cycle low and 4-year cycle before we go. And it's looking more and more likely that we're going to do that red squiggle, okay, which is fine, doesn't really matter if we can get out somewhere in this neighborhood. I think that's close enough to the top to call it the top, especially given that we got in down here and managed to stay on trend for the entire move, despite having an original base case of left translation for the cycle in here, okay, which clearly was invalidated back in November. And we still managed to stay on trend and continue to capture this move. So long as we can get out a little bit higher up here, I think all is right with the world, okay? And in the best case scenario, then maybe we can just squeeze out one final high. I think the world will be shocked if this happens. I think a lot of people will give up on the 4-year cycle. I think they'll be talking about a 5-year cycle and super cycles or whatever it is. But realistically, it would just be a new high that then resolves in the same way. Weekly cycle, left trans, failure, weekly cycle and 4-year cycle. So I don't think it's going to make much difference to us. You know, for a lot of people, especially if they're positioned in the wrong assets like alts or they got in late here, then they're sweating this move. But, you know, given that we got in down here and we captured it by a lot of higher beta assets like the crypto stocks, which have done multiples of this performance the entire way through the cycle, I'm more than comfortable sitting here for a bit extra time and seeing if we can squeeze a few more gains out of the market. But I appreciate if you're just showing up to the space now, this is probably not the asset of interest for you. But in terms of the base case, right, the idea was to extract the most of the move out of the weekly cycles and out of the 4-year cycle as a whole. And I think we've certainly done that, right?